What's going on, bottom line viewers here of the Bottom Line View, here to have all your NFL free agency analysis, coverage, everything that you need for free agency. Now, my two buddies, Dylan, Adam, AC, they're not here right now. And oh man, I needed to jump on as fast as I could because Brandin freaking Cooks just got traded to the New England Patriots. As a Patriots fan, very, very, very exciting. A lot of stuff going through my head right now. I think it's, a pretty crazy time in the NFL. There are also a lot of moves, and I don't want this one shadow all, but I'm going to start there because this is the immediate news. And if anything else comes out, I'll try and have you covered there as well. But I'm just going to give you my quick thoughts on every signing that went on today. But Brandin Cooks, man. Brandin Cooks traded to the New England Patriots for a first and a third. Patriots do as well get back a fourth-round pick. I want to hear, was this a good trade for the Saints? Was this a good trade for the Patriots? Does this make the Patriots the overwhelming favorite to repeat this season? In the comment section, in the live chat, I'll have all your questions answered as well if you do have any for me. Super, super exciting as a Patriots fan and fan as well, because not only as a Patriots fan is it exciting, but to see Tom Brady have another target for potentially one of his last seasons as a pro, even if you're a football fan or a Tom Brady fan in general. But let's break down this trade. So there were talks of Brandin Cooks going to, the Patriots over the course of the last couple of days. And to me, you never really see the Patriots trade for a player of Brandin Cooks' caliber, a young player. And it's not really that he's even young, that there's never a player of his caliber that, like, how often do you see a Brandin Cooks type of player, a guy that's had 2 1,000-yard seasons in two seasons in a row? It doesn't really happen very often. And now the team that without Rob Gronkowski is going to have Brandin, and they already scored 31 points in the Super Bowl with, and they still probably got to sign Dante Hightower, and that will probably come down to the wire the next couple of days. It's between them and the Titans, I hear, but we'll get to that when it comes. But Brandin Cooks adding to a Patriots offense, and the biggest thing is the Saints didn't even get Malcolm Butler, which is actually what Lazarus says here. He says, I'm surprised the Saints didn't push more for Butler like the rumors said. I think those rumors were already overblown. I think that was mostly coming from, the Patriots haven't signed him to a long-term deal. So they didn't, that was just being thrown out there by the media. I don't think that the Patriots or the Saints were ever engaging in Malcolm Butler trades. And maybe they just couldn't get a trade done that involved Butler and Cooks going back and forth. Maybe there was just too many moving parts for that trade to happen. But ultimately, at the end of the day, Brandin Cooks for a first and a third, essentially, the Patriots do get a fourth back. And the fourth-round pick is basically like moving back in the draft because the Saints do have a decent fourth round. The Patriots have, a really, really the worst third-round pick you could get, other than the compensatory picks. But, this trade, from a football standpoint, you add receiver core that already has Julian Edelman, who, in my opinion, is an upper echelon receiver. You have Julian Edelman there, and he is getting a little bit older. But you have Edelman, you have Brandin Cooks. You also, I don't know if this means that Danny Amendola is on his way out. That will be interesting. As a Patriots fan myself, I love Danny Amendola, but, his days are numbered, and they're coming up. He did have a great Super Bowl, so it'll be interesting to see if he does come back. They also have Chris Hogan, who was a hero throughout the playoffs, and they have Malcolm Mitchell, who's a rookie and also played prominently in the Super Bowl. Then you add a new trade with Dwayne Allen. You have Rob Gronkowski. You have Lewis and White on that offense with Brady. Settled offensive line. They have no moving pieces along the offensive line. That's pretty young and only going to get better. And, of course, coming back is Rob Gronkowski. This offense, if it's not already, the best offense in the league, it's going to be. I mean, from a point, it definitely looks like it could be the best offense in the league. They should have had the best offense in the league last year if it weren't for the Falcons and Rob Gronkowski's injury. But it's going to be just super exciting to watch because Brandin Cooks, Belichick has always been a huge fan of this guy. Going back a couple years when they played in the preseason, he was really raving about Brandin Cooks and his quickness, his route running, his shiftiness in not only outside but in the slot. This all Patriots, somewhat of a deep threat. He has really great speed in the NFL. He is short. I think he's only like 5'8" and like 3/4 or something like that. He is short, but that sort of receiver is kind of seemingly coming into the NFL a little bit more. So he can basically do it all. It's going to be very, very interesting. Ian says, do you think the Pats will sign Cooks long-term when his rookie contract ends? I think that he has 2 years left. I could be wrong, but I know he has this year left, and then I think the year after the next one. I think that probably they will. They did just trade for a first-round pick for him. I think that they would. It would make sense. I mean, why would you trade a first-round pick? It's like what the Cardinals did getting Chandler Jones. Like, they got Chandler Jones so they could sign him, basically, right? So they got Chandler Jones. They traded a second-round pick. Same as what the Browns did with Jamie Collins. They got him, and that wasn't even a bigger – like, Jamie Collins was for a third. Chandler Jones was for basically a second. And Brandin Cooks is for a first and basically, a couple moving up a couple spots in the third round. So it would only make sense for the Patriots to sign him. It wouldn't make sense for them to have a 1 or 2 year rental and then get rid of him. It wouldn't make much. You have to look at the fact that Julian Edelman is also, he's getting older, like I said, but his contract's coming up, I think, rather after this year or after the next year. So they have to decide. I think they'd keep Edelman because I think he just wants to play in New England and nowhere else. And Brady, they're like best friends. So I think that they'd stay there, but he'd stay there. But I think Edelman would definitely take a pay cut for that. And Brandin Cooks would, I think he would get a pretty decent contract. But it's going to be interesting to see way, because the Patriot way is unlike any other way. I mean, I've heard stories about how it's like the most militaristic program in the NFL. It's just, straight. I've never been on the Patriots or in their front office or anything, but they're just a straight line association. So I think that it's going to be interesting to see how his personality, because I heard some stories about Cooks during the season, wasn't happy with Sean Payton because of the number of targets he was getting, because he wasn't being prominently used week in and week out. So it's going to be interesting to see how his personality fits in with the Patriots. But the Patriots have, if not the best leadership in the NFL, certainly up. Guys like Edelman will definitely Edelman and Brady let him fit in and let his person, who wasn't known to be a guy with a big personality. And Cooks is genuinely quiet. I just heard a couple stories about that, and that being why. I'm not sure if it was because the Saints wanted to trade him, love Michael Thomas so much, and they love Willie, or if it was a combination of that and Brandin Cooks off the field personality. It's interesting, but man, I'm excited. I think he's going to be excellent. Christine asked, do you think Patriots? I was here yesterday. Yeah, I saw you yesterday. Thank you for subscribing. I think Brandin Cooks, awesome. I think he fits the Patriots. Like I said, he's quick. He's in the mold of like an Edelman, but he's faster down the field. He's a great route runner. He can fit in outside. He can fit in the slot. And he's going to really, really help this team. He just gives kind of that explosive factor to the team as well, like down the field presence that they can throw a deep ball. And I also think some people are overlooking why this is such a good move. Last year, and Tom Brady threw his best deep ball he's been throwing in quite a while, because Tom Brady hasn't been known to be the greatest deep ball thrower in NFL history. He's certainly good, but over the course of the last few seasons, it seemed like his deep ball was kind of not as good as it was in the past. But last year, he had Chris Hogan. Chris Hogan was the deep threat of the team. He was second in yards per catch. So you add Brandin Cooks, who has the speed to get down the field, had numerous deep plays with the Saints. You add Rob Gronkowski, who's that deep vertical threat down the middle of the field. This offense is going to be very difficult to stop. You add, Edelman underneath and the other running backs they have out of the passing game. This is going to be a very, very difficult offense to stop. It's going to be very tough. It's just going to be really exciting, though. Like for the Saints and the Saints' point of things, like Brandin Cooks, I think it's interesting to see why they traded him again, like I said. But they did get a first and a third round pick back. Drew Brees, I would be a little bit mad. I mean, Drew Brees is going to help him. They do have two first round picks now, so unless they want to do their defense entirely, and I don't know if they talk to Drew about potentially trading Brandin Cooks. I know Drew Brees is still going to have a good offense. The Saints have a good offense without Cooks. I'm not really worried about that from the Saints' point. If you're Drew Brees, aren't you saying I just traded arguably my best receiver to the Patriots? If you're the AFC, are you thinking, how the heck are we going to beat the Patriots this season? They have Ski back. They just signed Stephon Gilmore. I mean, Patriots are looking really good right now on paper. It's going to be interesting. I really hope that they do sign Dante Hightower. They do get a long-term deal with Malcolm Butler. That's the one guy that was rumored to go to the Saints. And like somebody said earlier in the chat, actually it was Lazarus. He said, it's interesting to see that Malcolm Butler didn't go, but I never thought that he would, because I think the Patriots think too highly of Malcolm Butler to let him go somewhere else. And I also think that trading a corner for a receiver in this day and age in the NFL, there are not many elite corners in the NFL, and you need as many as you can. That's why they went out and spent big money on Gilmore. But the Patriots obviously thought they needed a deep receiver, because they are also in free agency for Deshaun Jackson. But they got a younger, more complete receiver in Brandin Cooks to come to the Patriots. And I think he's going to be awesome for them this season. Lazarus says, just got an alert from Bleacher. According to Adam Schefter, Pats and Saints are still talking about trading Butler. Interesting. So if that's the case, interesting that it didn't happen with the Cooks trade. Maybe they wanted to get the Cooks trade out of the way and then talk about it after. But would that be a first-round pick? Because technically, Malcolm Butler is signed to a first-round tender deal. That means he's making about $4 million this year, and he's signed for a first-round pick. So if anybody else wants to sign him, if the Saints wanted Malcolm Butler so bad, I don't know if I believe that rumor too much. I know it's from Adam Schefter, but why wouldn't the Saints? It depends, unless they're getting him for less than a first-round pick. Why wouldn't the Saints just say, okay, we're going to outbid you for Malcolm Butler. We're going to sign that first-round tender. We'll give you a first-round pick. We'll give you your first-round pick back, or whatever. I don't even know. And then sign, or I guess it would be the Saints' first-round pick. So it would be the Saints' first-round pick, and we'll grab Malcolm Butler, and then we'll have the rights to sign him. So that's what I don't understand with that rumor. Do you think the Patriots can rewrite 2007? Now, Brandin Cooks is great, but he's not Randy Moss. I mean, Rob Gronkowski is truly 100% healthy, and if he plays elite level, I don't 2007 what I don't know if you mean the record or offense. Do you mean the record, like 18-1, 19-0, or do you think that the offense will be that historic? I'm questioning which one you think. I think from an offensive standpoint, easily going into the season, they will be the number one paper. Edelman, Cooks, Gronk, Allen, White. Hopefully they get Blunt or somebody at running back maybe in the draft. Have Lewis, a pretty decent offensive line. Joel Gaming says definitely injuries happen, but you can't count on injuries. Like predicting, I don't predict injuries before the season. When I predict a team to do well, bad or poorly, it's not. I don't predict them. Okay, I'm not going to say Aaron or Tom Brady is going to bust his knee or whatever. Like, I'm not saying that before the season just to say a team's going to do poorly or bad. Joel says undefeated season. No, it's too difficult. Even if they did, I couldn't go through that again, man. I couldn't go through the Patriots doing another undefeated season. Like, it's stressful for a fan from week to week to watch your team pursuing this. And it's like down to the wire, and will they win? Will they lose? It's just, I'd run the game and then run the table. Like, I don't want them to go undefeated, to be honest. It would be awesome, but it's so difficult and there's so much pressure. Should RG3 retire? We will get to RG3. I think that's pretty much it on Brandin Cooks. I think he's going to be awesome as a Patriot. We'll get to him probably later at some point. But Cooks is going to be awesome as a Patriot. He's with the offense very well. Josh McDaniels will have him having one of his best seasons of his career. And I think that, the Patriots definitely look like the favorite right now. So is there anything I missed in the comment section? What moves do you think the Patriots will make next? I think their next move their priority is Dont'a Hightower. I would look to Dont'a Hightower as their next move. I think they'll probably re-sign him today or tomorrow, probably. What do you think about Bennett to the Packers? That's actually the next thing I'm going to go to. Bennett goes to the Packers, and I'm not sure exactly what the contract is. If you guys have that information, be sure to put it in the comments for everyone to see. It's interesting. I think Bennett's a good player. He obviously stepped up for the Patriots when they needed him without Gronkowski. He's versatile. He can block well. He's a good pass. He's had some really good seasons in the NFL, and he did help the Patriots fill the Super Bowl. So it's a good signing, but the Packers had Jared Cook last year, so I don't really think it's a great upgrade. They're both totally different tight ends. Jared Cook is a fast player. Bennett is not necessarily like fast or quick, but Bennett will catch consistently. He'll get open, but he's not elite. I wouldn't say, Bennett's not an elite tight end. He's probably in the conversation for lower top 10, probably top 10 to 15 tight ends in the NFL, top 10 to 15 in the NFL for tight ends. But Jared Cook, I would think after the season he had with the Packers, is around that same conversation. Jared Cook is kind of a different matchup issue with, the way that he's fast and he's quick and he's big at the same time. He does have the dropsies sometimes, and Bennett won't necessarily give you that. He's more consistent with his hands. The area that Bennett really helps the Packers is in the run game because he's a very good block. That's basically where I'd look to see the Packers upgrading, is they want a more consistent run game, which I think Bennett can help with. And off of that, he can work in the play action game and he can work in the pass game as well. Predator says Packers need a defense more than an offense. Yeah, but I also think that they needed a tight end because they let go of Jared Cook, and I think that they really liked what he brought to that offense. Bennett I think was a priority for them. I'm a fan they will be disappointed at 11-5 or 10-6. I think before Brandin Cooks, they would be disappointed with 11-5 or 10-6. They haven't gone 11-5 since 2009. They haven't been that bad that's a playoff team, but they haven't been an 11-win team since 2009. So I think if they didn't win more than 12 games, that would be a major disappointment. Look for them to win 14 games once again this season, which is what. So I would say 14 and up with, a Super Bowl berth, what they would be asking for, and ultimately a Super Bowl win. I think that would be probably along the lines of what the Patriots would do this year. Predator says still win the division. LOL. Yeah, probably. What else we got? Jabaal Sheard is also in Patriots news. Jabaal Sheard, who was a defensive end for the Patriots, signed a 3-year deal with the Indianapolis Colts. I think this is a decent signing for the Colts. They definitely need some pass rush, and the Colts definitely need a defense overall. They let a couple guys go, and Sheard was okay for the Patriots last season. He was really good for them in 2015, the season before last, especially down the stretch where they needed him. But I think Jabaal Sheard is better as a pass rusher. He's not the greatest every down player. He's really good in certain situations, which is hopefully what the Colts ask him to do. But he can definitely provide the Colts with another guy to rush the passer. I think this is a pretty good deal for the Colts. And Jabaal Sheard overall is a good defensive end to add to their team. See the comment section. Any idea what the Jets are doing? It's the Jets. Okay, like the one thing I don't understand is what are they doing with Jay Cutler? That is my number one thing. Because why are they asking? What are they asking with Jay Cutler? Like, why do they want Jay Cutler? The Jets are seasons away from being good. They're seasons away from building a team that's going to be good and a contender. Jay Cutler, first off, isn't going to take you anywhere. Second of all, he sucks. And third, he's going to help you probably win a couple more games than you wouldn't want to. I think it doesn't make sense why the Jets want Jay Cutler. I don't think anyone wants Jay Cutler, to be honest. Josh says, if Jimmy G can stay, yes. If no, it's Jacoby. Would the Patriots be good without Brady? Okay, Christine said that. I think they would be good with Jimmy. I think they would still be probably a 10-plus win team with Jimmy. Without Jimmy, with Jacoby, I still think they would be like 8-8. I think they're really loaded. Obviously, they just won the Super Bowl. I think that with Jimmy, they would be 10-plus wins. With Jacoby, they would be 8 wins. You're making so many moves. I don't know. Like, it's kind of confusing, but in the back of my mind, I'm saying from a Patriots fan perspective, I'm thinking, okay, we have Tom Brady for, 3 more years. We want to maximize the amount of champions we win with Tom Brady. It's almost like what John Elway did. He went all in for those couple of years to try a Super Bowl team. So for Belichick, although I think that they try and win every year and they try and put a lineup that can win the Super Bowl every year, they're now seeing that, okay, if we can make this extra move, like give our first-round pick away for a season, which, by the way, we didn't even have one last year, and add a Brandin Cooks to our team that is already a proven playmaker in the NFL, and that could potentially help us win another Super Bowl, then they'll do it. I think they're still going with their same normal game plan when it comes to free agency, but maybe because Tom Brady's years are limited, they're trying to maximize the potential window. Revis to the Eagles, probably. That's interesting. The Eagles definitely need secondary help. And it's to see, though, if Revis can still play corner. I would see if he could move to safety. I don't know if he can still be a corner in the league because he was last year. Arian, what's up, man? Which W superstars do you think could physically be capable of playing in the Brock Lesnar? That's it. I think that's it. What else we got? Okay, let's continue on. Mike Remmers signed Minnesota Vikings from Carolina. Mike Remmers is a good tackle. He's not a great tackle. He's good in run blocking. He's not the greatest in pass blocking. Desperately what Minnesota needed. So it's interesting to see this move. They obviously needed to replace Matt Kalil, who has now gone to Carolina. So Carolina basically traded tackles with Mike Remmers and Matt Kalil. But I think that Remmers will be fine with Minnesota. I think it is maybe a slight upgrade in run blocking, which they were terrible running the ball and passing the ball last year in Minnesota. Like, their offense was bad, but specifically run blocking was really bad in Minnesota. So I think that this tackle. Terelle Pryor, I really like this move. He signed with the Washington Redskins, 1 year, $8 million. Cleveland is a team that I don't know why they didn't sign Terelle Pryor. For me, looking at this contract, a team didn't want to give him more money than that. It's interesting. I thought that Terelle Pryor proved a lot last year. He looked really good as his first full year as a receiver. Only real playmaker on Cleveland's offense last year. Washington is desperately it's really gonna be the offense last year. They let go of Deshaun, they let go of Garcon, but they signed Terelle Pryor to replace at least one of those guys, which I think is a good move. They got Josh Doxson in the first round last year. They have Jamison Crowder, who I'm really high on. I think they still need a running back. Their offensive line is okay, and Kirk Cousins played good last year. And don't forget Jordan Reed at tight end. So I think Terelle Pryor is a good add for Washington, and they'll still remain one of the better offenses skill-wise in the NFL. Pryor, I thought, would go probably a more long-term contract, but instead he went with a 1 year. Bodo, what's going on, Bodo? He says, I have to go back to work. I was just going to say one thing. What the F are the Redskins doing? The Terelle Pryor move was good. I have no idea, man. I think that they're trying to get, wasn't it like Mike Mayock, who's like he's like the mock draft specialist? That would be a terrible hire. I don't know what they're doing there, but Lightning says, as a football fan, are you surprised the Raiders aren't doing anything or failing to do so? Yes, I talked about this yesterday with Adam and with Dylan, and I basically said I'm surprised because Oakland was a team last year that I thought was a couple of pieces away, specifically on defense, to making a run, and I looked at Oakland as the Patriots' primary, out for the number one challenger, let's say, to the Patriots crown AFC. So to see them not making big moves was a little bit surprising. Like, I thought they would maybe go out and sign a corner like Stephon Gilmore, like the Patriots signed, or AJ Bouye would have been a good sign, in my opinion. I thought they would go sign a corner or a defensive lineman or something to help their defense, which they didn't. But I do realize that they have to sign Khalil Mack, Amari Cooper, and Derek Carr in the future. So there is that. So I think they are saving a bit of money this year just to sign their key players in the future. Christine says, will the Patriots win 2 more Super Bowls? 2. And I'm assuming you mean with Brady and Belichick. I think that they're certainly my favorite right now to win next year. I don't know about the year after that. It's totally different. I can't tell. But I think, with the 3 at the beginning of Brady's career and potentially 3 at the end, maybe. Never know. Exclusive live fight as part of. Julian, are you talking about your channel, bro? I'm confused. 15th anniversary. I think that we were gonna watch that shit. We'll see. Okay, let's continue on with this free agency talk. Kony Ealy and a third was also traded to the Patriots. So the Patriots did make 2 trades today, and one that is I already basically forgot about. The Patriots got Kony Ealy. This underperformed last season for the Panthers. Still had 5 sacks. Jabaal Sheard. I think that the Patriots got a young player here who's shown a lot of potential. He had 3 sacks in the Super Bowl against Peyton Manning. He had an interception in that game as well. He could have potentially been the Super Bowl MVP if the Panthers won that game. So the Patriots get a player with a lot of potential. He had a really good 3-cone drill at I think like the top one for a defensive lineman at the 2014 Combine, which is Belichick really likes players that run a fast 3-cone. I don't know why, but he does. So they got Kony Ealy, who's basically there to replace Jabaal Sheard, and they'll probably get someone else, a lower name, maybe a veteran guy, or draft somebody to replace Chris Long's production from last year. They just want to have those rotational pass rushers. So you add Kony Ealy in a young defensive line along with Trey Flowers, and Trey Flowers looks to be really good. So the Patriots defense also adding a player. I like this trade as well. It was brilliant in the take that they got Kony Ealy, a player with still some potential, very cheap, about $1 million a year, and a 3rd-round pick, which is, if you think about the Panthers' 3rd-round pick, is like 8th overall. So the Patriots only moved back like 8 spots to get Kony Ealy, and they moved back 8 spots. So I think for the Patriots, it was a great trade. For the Panthers, it was a little. I understand that they might want to move up in the I think, Kony Ealy, that's giving up on a player very fast. He has shown some bright spots, and so it's interesting. So much Patriots news today. I need a drink of water. Is it fair to say the Patriots are winning the offseason? Yeah. Jags are also winning. I agree with that. Patriots next year, or do you think we will win? Who's we? Cleveland going 0-16. Do you mean the Patriots? I think he means the Patriots. I think the Patriots will right now, if I had to pick a Super Bowl champion, it would be the Patriots. I don't think the Falcons will get back there. As of right now, I don't think Super Bowl. Christine says, where do you think Tony Romo will go? Man. It's tough. I made a couple videos about Tony Romo, and it seems almost like nobody wants him that bad, which I'm pissed off. I'm a big Tony Romo fan, and it kind of sucks to see him not getting more. I understand he's older. He's kind of getting treatment right now. Peterson can't find a team either. Tony Romo, the Texans, the Broncos have said that they kind of are going to be out of it. Broncos have also been shopping Trevor Siemian as well. And I've heard that Trevor Siemian could go to the Jets. So if Trevor Siemian gets traded, then I would look at Denver as a possible situation there. But I would definitely lean towards the Texans because of what they did with Brock Osweiler. They opened some cap up to get Tony Romo. And if they do get Tony Romo, I will say this, they'll be the Patriots' #1 challenge next year. Logan Ryan signed with the Tennessee Titans. So many more Patriots. Logan Ryan signed with the with the Titans from the Patriots. Played very well. I saw somebody call him, I think it was lunch bucket or something. Logan. It's just like he is like a hard-working corner, and that's often not said in the same sentence, because often corners are very cocky, they're very flamboyant. Deion Sanders. But Logan Ryan is one of those guys that he's a phenomenal tackler. He's arguably the best corner tackler in the NFL. A great player in the open field. I think he'll bring that to the Titans. But he's also a very good slot corner. As we saw over the past half of the season last year, he played really well for the Patriots as their slot corner. The Patriots did sign Stephon Gilmore, who is more of an outside guy, so they still need to kind of get somebody for that. Maybe they believe in Cyrus Jones. Maybe they believe in one of those other players to replace Logan Ryan. But Logan Ryan, I thought, was a $10 million per year deal, which I think is pretty decent considering Gilmore got 14 a year. But Ryan going to the Titans, he'll instantly be, if Jason McCourty is there, they have Logan Ryan. Logan Ryan has familiarity with the McCourtys, obviously. So I think that's a good signing for the Titans. And it's good to see that they're addressing some of their needs. Definitely was their secondary last year because their secondary is really, really bad. Go back to the comments. Jags will make the playoffs. No, not unless they get a new core. If they get Tony Romo, sure. If they have Blake Bortles, no. I'm not a believer in Blake Bortles. Their defense is very good. I think their defense will be for sure, but their offense is questionable, to say the least. I'm just happy Patriots are finally figuring out ways to get better. It's been a long month since them winning a Super Bowl. Poor suffering Pats fans. Yeah, you're right. I mean, us Pats fans are really spoiled, bro. Love it. What else? What do you think? Oh, what do you think of the Pats picking up Brandin Cooks and Kony Ealy? I talked about that at the beginning of the video. I think they're both excellent moves. If you can, I don't know if you can scroll back and watch it, or maybe wait till this video is posted. Then you could go back and watch my initial thoughts, because I freaked out at the beginning of the video. So if you guys didn't see the beginning of the video, I freaked out about it. But Cooks, Ealy, great. I love it. Absolutely love it. Kony Ealy was a steal. Brandin Cooks is just I always love Brandin Cooks. He is a great receiver. Super Patriot. He can play on the outside, play in the slot, and he's going to be excellent with Tom Brady next year. Who's a legitimate threat to derail the Patriots going to the Super Bowl? One, I think the Texans, if they get a quarterback. Two, the Raiders, I guess, will challenge them, but I don't see their defense being good enough to stop the Patriots. The Cowboys, if they put it all together, the Giants, I think, is a team that you have to look out for in the NFC with that Brandon Marshall signing I like, and they have a pretty good defense, depending on how good Eli Manning is. But I think they're the head and shoulders the best team. I think the Packers still have a terrible defense. They need to fix that. But Aaron Rodgers is always a threat. AFC-wise, though, Kansas City, I just can't trust Alex Smith. What else we got? NFC North. I don't think the Steelers are a threat, to be honest. I don't think the Steelers are a big threat to the Patriots next year. Should the Broncos push for Kaepernick, not Romo? Kaepernick, no. I think they'd be better off with Paxton Lynch or Trevor Siemian. I didn't think Trevor Siemian was that bad last year, actually. Christine says, what? In capital letters, are you crazy? What do you mean, Christine? What did I do? What else? Gilmore got 13 a year. $5 million. It averages out to $14 million a year. If you heard me say $14 million a year, it's because it averages over the course. It's 14 a year average. Patriots offense is going to be fire. Agreed. Anyone think the Patriots should trade Rob Gronkowski? Absolutely not. Julian, unless they're getting JJ Watt, no. Josh says Jags should get Mitch or Watson for the quarterback. Assuming it's not, you don't mean me. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I think Mitch Trubinsky is probably the best quarterback in the draft from a throwing stance wise. You look at Watson and how he was a great, leader and all that. Probably has the highest ceiling. I believe in Watson the most. His drive. I believe in his work ethic. I believe in his skill set as well in terms of, he's a great thrower of the ball and he has a lot to offer there. But I definitely think a quarterback would be good for the Jags because Blake Bortles is like one of my least favorite players. What do you think about the Pats getting Brandin Cooks? Okay, we said that. What else? Bill Belichick needs to have Dante signed, though. Yes, he does. I think Bill Belichick will get that done in the next couple of days. That's going to be my prediction. Tomorrow or the next day, you'll see Dante Hightower is re-signed with the Patriots. I don't think he's going to go anywhere else. I've heard the Titans, but I've also heard reports that the Titans aren't a legitimate threat to signing Hightower. So I've heard both ways, but I think Hightower will definitely be back. The one I'm worried about, honestly, is Butler because it sounds like Butler isn't exactly pleased with what the Patriots have been offering him. So that's somebody I'm kind of worried about. The Patriots should get a running back. I really like Christian McCaffrey, but it doesn't look like they're going to have a draft pick to draft him. So I think they'll just re-sign LeGarrette Blount, and they'll be fine with Luke, and they'll have James White and Dion Lewis. I think that's probably what they'll do. Mitch the Plant. Good joke. I don't know if anyone else will get that, though. Do you think that the Patriots should get AP or Charles? Jamal Charles. The name value is there. Like, sure, would I kind of be excited from the prospect of seeing Adrian Peterson, Tom Brady? Yeah, but no contract situation. If you can get Adrian Peterson for the same amount as LeGarrette Blount, but I know what LeGarrette Blount's going to give the Patriots, and I don't know what the Patriots are going to get from a guy like, first, Eddie Lacy. Is he going to be overweight? Is he going to be eating too many cheeseburgers? Then you have the idea of Adrian Peterson. He's old. Is he still going to be banged up? But it is Adrian Peterson. Jamal Charles, I think, is getting the most interest on the market because he is one of those guys that I talked about in a separate video. He can do it all. Like, he can catch the ball. Even if he's not quite the runner he used to be, he can still be the guy that can catch it and, make people miss. So I think Jamal Charles would be interesting as well. But the Patriots are looking for that thumper guy, the big guy, because they already have Lewis, they already have White, so they want one of those big body guys like the LeGarrette Blount. So Eddie Lacy could be possible, I would think. But he does eat too many cheeseburgers. Malcolm Mitchell is only 2 months older than Cooks. Yeah, he's young. Both are young. No, I'm talking about the guy who said, Romo over Kaepernick. Yeah. Loading up right now. They just got Cooks. Trade Gronk. Trade Gronk. What are you talking about? If they're loading up, why would you trade arguably your best player or your second best player? Why would you trade him? Defense, they will go 16-0. Well, if you think about it, they already had the best defense in the league last year from points aspect. They were number 1 in points defense last year. Adding Stephon Gilmore, and if you restart, you arguably have a better defense. And they re-signed Alan Branch and Deron Harmon, so defensive front as well. Saints and the Patriots, a trade later on for cornerback Malcolm. That somebody brought that up as well. I don't think so. I don't think Butler's going to go to the Saints, guys. I don't think Butler's going to go to the Saints. Kaepernick needs a good defense like the Broncos. I don't believe it. I love the guy. He seems like a really nice guy, and he actually didn't. Brand, I'll give you that. Last year, I think. Let's say this. For the Broncos to be like, okay, we're going to put money into Kaepernick because they already have Simeon, they already have Paxton Lynch, and really, how much better is Kaepernick than those guys if he even is better? So they're not going to pay for a guy that's arguably not better than what they already have. Paula says, Peterson has always had serious fumbling issues, and no way Bill puts up with that. I agree with you. But it's Adrian Peterson. I mean, if it's Adrian Peterson, like good Adrian Peterson, he'll put up with it. But if it's old Adrian Peterson and you don't know what you're going to get Adrian Peterson, then I agree with you. And that is why they won't sign him. I heard that Peterson isn't getting a lot of market value. Nobody is really wanting him right now. Let's hope Butler will stay. I agree with you, Christine. Moving on. Mike Adams from the Colts signed with the Carolina. Good trade, or not good trade, good signing. I like Mike Adams. He's a pretty solid veteran safety there. Carolina really lacked at the safety position last year, and I don't think that they'll want Ron Harper to be playing again and all those olds that they've had over the past couple of years. I think the other guy they had was Boston, and then the other, he's good. I forgot his name for some reason. But Mike Adams is a solid, and whether he's in a 2-man or 3-man rotation at safety, he's good in zone, which is what Carolina like for Carolina. And again, they desperately needed some guys. Also, Mike Adams will provide leadership to that younger cornerback core. He's played well for the Colts over the past couple of years. I think that's a solid add for them. Josh said, "What do you think?" Gronk for what? That would probably be the biggest trade of all time. I don't think there would be a bigger trade. I mean, there's that Cowboys trade for Herschel Walker, but I don't think there would be a bigger trade ever than Watt for Gronk. It's really tough because Watt is arguably a top 15 defensive player of all time, and Gronk is arguably the best tight end of all time. So it's tough. I would maybe do that if I was the Patriots. It depends how healthy they both are, though. Because Gronk, we've seen consistent injuries. Watt, we've seen consistent. If it was Watt for Gronk, they would probably do it. That's all I'm saying, because I think that they can find a tight end. I think the main difference is I think they can find a tight end and they'd be fine with a Dwayne Allen at tight end instead of, whatever the other guy they could get for J.J. Watt. You don't get J.J. Watts every day. You know what I mean? So do you think the Broncos will take back Brock Osweiler? No. I don't think, first, Brock Osweiler wants to go there. And second, I don't think that John Elway likes Brock Osweiler at all. Marty beat to the Packers for $18.5 million for 3 years. Think the Patriots should have re-signed him and not let him walk with that contract. Considering that they got Dwayne Allen for $2 million less than that, maybe. I thought that he would get more money than that, actually. So if those are the correct numbers, he signed Martellus Bennett. But Dwayne Allen is, first of all, younger, same player as Martellus Bennett. Okay, let's get through a couple more of these, and then I'm going to go watch the Penguins. Julius Peppers, Green Bay to Carolina, back in Carolina. Exciting stuff for your Carolina guys. Mike Adams is in Carolina now. Julius Peppers. I'm happy to see Julius Peppers back where he was and Julius Peppers, arguably a Hall of Famer. He'll finish his career in Carolina, and that's just a good story overall. I'm a big Julius Peppers fan. I think he still has something to offer, and I think he can bolster that Carolina pass rush a little bit, whether it's at D end or linebacker. Lawrence Timmons from Pittsburgh to Miami, 2-year, $12 million deal. Pittsburgh seemed like he didn't want to resign. And also I heard that Timmons actually took less money to go to Miami than to go to Pittsburgh, which was interesting. I think he's from, which makes some sense. and he is older. But I think that this, in a way, is a blessing in disguise for Pittsburgh. I know that he's been a very solid linebacker for them, but Timmons is not the greatest in coverage. And I don't really like this scheme fit from Miami's perspective. Sure, he's a veteran linebacker, and he's pretty decent, but going to Miami is a totally different defense. He's played in the 3-4 in Pittsburgh his whole life and his whole career. And in Miami, he's going to be forced to play a 4-3 alongside Kiko Alonso. And that's a big scheme switch. I don't really understand how Lawrence Timmons fits in Miami. That's just my opinion. I don't think that was a great signing from Miami's perspective. And I think Pittsburgh kind of would be fine without him. The Browns cut RG3, if anybody cares whatsoever. If the Patriots decide to trade Jimmy G, what do you think they would want? It seems like they want more and more. It almost seems like they want 2 firsts or a first overall pick, something like that. I think they want a lot. I don't exactly know because there's been numerous trades thrown out there, but it seems like they want a lot. So if they do trade Jimmy G, it'll be for a lot. Prince Amukamara, it kind of see Jordan Cameron retire. He had a lot of concussions. That's why he retired. Prince Amukamara signed a deal to Chicago. Chicago desperately needs some corners. Pretty decent signing there, but he didn't play great with Jacksonville. DJ Hayden signed with the Detroit Lions, another corner for a 1-year deal up to $5.25 million. Decent slot corner for Detroit, another team that needed some secondary. Both of these moves. And just to mention some more San Fran stuff, Matt Barkley and Aldrick Robinson signed with San Fran. Looks like Kyle Shanahan kind of has his hands on a few of these deals. Kyle Shanahan is adding some depth to the roster and adding some guys that he already has previous experience with. And Brandon Williams, Baltimore Ravens, which was good to see. Brandon, underrated players in the NFL, and definitely against a run. He's going to be great for Baltimore for years to come, and I think that was a great re-signing for them. William Hayes is headed to Miami, so he's going to help that pass rush out. He didn't have a great season with the Rams last year, but it was the Rams. I actually think he's a pretty good player, and Miami needs as many pass rushers as they can get to get after Tom Brady. So those are basically all the moves that I want to discuss. If you guys have any final questions, I'll take some final questions for, about 5 more minutes, and then I'll get out of here, guys. So get your last question in, and then I'll leave. Has great packages of Christopher Daniels from 3 to start off ROH. Is that happening right now? Happening right now at Ring of Honor. I don't even know, man. I haven't been paying attention. Why does Fitzpatrick still have why does Phil job? Does he have a job? Does he have a job? Is he still on the Jets? I don't know. Is he still on the Jets? Because he's definitely not going to start because they need to try out, Hackenberg and those guys. So free agent. I think he's a free agent. Predator Magnus says, any news about Sebastian? It seems like he's not going to resign with the Patriots. It looks like he's rather going to retire or sign somewhere for like a 1-year deal. Things happening in his life haven't been good. So he's not without. Christine says, who will be the next big quarterback? I think the next big top quarterback will be Derek. He kind of already had a great season last year. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. If you're talking about in the draft, I don't think there's a great draft. The best. Bill Belichick gets rid of players. How did I know this was going to be talking about Tom Brady? What do you think he'll do with Brady? Brady will retire the same year that Belichick retires, probably seasons. When Brady's contract is up, this will be his final contract, and Brady and Belichick will ride off into the sunset with each other. That's why I think they're loading up right now. Julian says Colt Cabana is on ROH. Nice. All right, guys, this is your final questions. Okay. I'll give you a couple more minutes, but I'm just gonna say my good. All right, guys, thank you guys for tuning in to the bottom. Thanks for all the comments, all the questions. That's awesome. I'll definitely be back. See what happens this weekend. I might just do a recap of the weekend because I don't know if I want to be here on both days, depending on what happens. But thank you guys for tuning in. And definitely subscribe to the Bottom Line View if you have not. Like the video if you have not as well. And check out the rest of the content we have. We've definitely been firing on all cylinders on the Bottom Line View. NFL, NHL, NBA, WWE, wrestling in general. All that stuff covered here. If you're a fan of any of those things, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And guys, peace.